A little better about sitting on I-4 there. Well, this is quite a story. A divorced couple not letting their differences get in the way of a family photo. A year ago, a mom who lives in Alaska and dad who lives in South Carolina got together to take a family portrait with their son. They are divorced. The top two pictures are when they were married. The bottom two after the divorce. In a post, mom wrote, "We are not in love, but we are forever connected because of our son."
Oh, how wonderful. Relationship expert Pastor Derek Triplett joining us this morning to talk more about this and how other parents can learn something from them. Good to see you, my friend.
Good to see you always.
Nice to have you here.
Always.
What did you think when you first saw that?
Great picture. Great picture. I thought about the dynamics and the sacrifices they're making. And when they make those kind of sacrifices, you have to recognize it's for the child. It's for the child. But it does have some ramifications on the relationships, especially if the divorced parents remarry. So we do have to talk about that. But it's a great thing when you can be amicable and actually co-parent.
And Derek, a lot of divorced parents probably have that goal, but the problem is they get together and they can't get along, and it just doesn't go the way they want it to.
And that's what makes this story so special. This story is special because they made it happen. But if the child needs it, that's a great thing. One of the things that we have to worry about is that when the child grows older and the parents are used to it, if the child still needs it, and if they don't need it, then the parents have to adjust.
Right. Well, you brought it up already, the blended family issue. Okay, so in this case, it appears anyway that they have not remarried or moved on yet to other relationships, but eventually that will likely happen. How do you go about bringing that blended family in and still keep the peace?
Well, it happens in the dating process. It really happens in the dating process, and we've talked about this before. I believe that there's treasure and then there's the field. So in the dating process, you have to talk about, this is what comes with me, and be very, very honest and let people make a decision about whether they can handle that. If there are adjustments that have to be made, little tweaks here, but it's very, very important to allow a person to make a decision. Hey, this is kind of how we do things. Is that okay with you? And then you have to decide if that's a deal breaker or not.
How difficult are the ages between young and then when you get into the teenage years with putting those relationships together like that?
They get very, very difficult in the teenage years, not just on family pictures or family outings or that type of thing, but they get difficult when it comes to things like every other weekend visits and the like. Because once kids develop their own lives, their own friends, their own routines, their games, their parties, they don't necessarily want to be taken away from their life every other weekend.
Disruptive.
So the parents have to make the adjustments.
Yeah, and you have to be able to willing to listen to the kids and say, you know what, they're right. Maybe they don't need to come to dad's this weekend because they already have a big whatever, right?
Well, what happens with that is that when there is a divorce, there are needs that the parents have to get certain types of relationships with the kids. The needs of the children have to come first. So when that 14-year-old says, Dad or Mom, there's this really, really important game this weekend and all of my friends are going, the dad or mom can't say, but this is my time and you should want to spend time with your dad or you should want to spend time with your mom. It doesn't work that way. There is an adjustment. And something you said earlier, Ryan, is so critical. When you go through divorce and you have children, then you are forever connected to someone who you're no longer committed to. And that creates a lot of different dynamics that take work. Isn't it interesting that marriage takes work?
Yes.
And then divorce takes work.
Well, let's hope that image inspires people to put, you know what, let's put our kids first. Where can people find you out there?
DerekTriplett.com, WOKB Radio. I'm headed there when I leave here.
Good luck. Listen to Derek on the radio.
Great to see you.
Thanks, Derek. Always good to see you. 9:17. Let's check in with Jamie.